We're here in Rio de Janeiro, and I guarantee you this will be an unforgettable experience as you get to taste the food, the culture, have experiences with the historical aspect of Brazil. That's right, one of the major parts of the African diaspora. And guess what? We want you to join us here in Brazil. The views are amazing, the food is spectacular, and the experience is unforgettable. And the only thing that's missing is you. Join us.
To say I am disappointed in South Africa is an understatement. As you all know, there has been escalating tensions between Pretoria and Washington, D.C., from Trump accusing South Africa of mass killing whites to confiscating land without compensation. And to top it all off, Trump has cut financial aid to South Africa, including slapping South African exports with a 30% tariff. And that is just the tip of the iceberg. As of last year, Trump nominated right-winger extremist, a propagandist, a blatant racist white supremacist, Brent Bozell III, to be the U.S. ambassador to South Africa. Just to give you a background on what this man stands for. In 1987, Brent Bozell joined a coalition opposing the Reagan administration on meeting with the African National Congress, the ANC party. He was part of the people that opposed the ending of apartheid. He didn't want South Africa to transition into the new democratic era we are currently living in. Bozell is widely known for having publicly supported the apartheid regime and for supporting efforts to end that system of racial oppression, a stance that aligned him with the defenders of institutionalized racial hierarchy, exclusion, and brutality. To now position him as the U.S. diplomatic representative to a nation still grappling with the long, painful shadow of apartheid, a nation whose people continue to confront racial inequality, economic injustice, and the everyday legacy of structural discrimination, is nothing short of an insult, a slap in our faces. South Africa's history cannot be swept under the rug or be downplayed. Its people carry the scars of systemic segregation, disenfranchisement, and state violence in their memories, in their communities, and in their streets. Appointing someone with a track record of defending apartheid-era policies to represent the United States in that context isn't leadership. It's fuel on a fire that South Africans are still fighting to heal from even today. This decision signals a profound lack of understanding, empathy, and moral judgment. It undermines the genuine aspirations of South Africans striving for dignity, equality, and justice, and it risks deepening racial resentment at a moment when solidarity and respectful partnership are needed more than ever. Bringing someone with Bozell's views into this role is not just tone deaf. It's a powerful misstep with real consequences for U.S.-South Africa relations and for the millions who still bear the legacy of apartheid every day or even today. There's always proof that these Zionists are controlling the trajectory of Black people and essentially the global South, and we are letting it happen. They are no longer hiding what they are. Racist demons that seek to oppress us every chance they get. During the October 23rd, 2025 hearing, Senator Chris Murphy questioned Bozell on his views, specifically regarding whether he believed Black Americans should be allowed to vote, which led to a contentious exchange. I mean, here's this man, Brent Bozell, supporting a refugee policy that only admits white people amid real people of color that face conflicts daily in their countries. So if he is for that, then he is also for having laws that prohibit Black America from voting. He is also for laws that prohibit Black people in general for holding power in their respectful countries or their respective countries.
Do you support having a refugee admissions policy in this country that only admits white refugees?
Senator, I don't make that policy.
Well, but it's really important. But I think this is if I were to ask this question of virtually any nominee to be an ambassador prior to this panel, that would be an easy layup answer. No, of course. Of course, we don't support having a refugee policy where we only admit white people. So why can't you give me your personal view on that?
Because, Senator, I am here to serve America and to do what the president is asking me to do. I'll be following the executive order of February.
Would you support reinstituting laws in this country to only allow white people to vote?
Senator, I'm going to serve as ambassador to South Africa, and I'm going to focus on that.
You will not share your personal views on whether it is right or wrong to reinstitute discriminatory policies in this country to prevent black people from voting?
Senator, my personal views are irrelevant. I am serving here to do what the president is asking me to do in South Africa.
Well, that's just simply not true. The whole reason that you're appearing before this committee is because your personal views, your history is absolutely relevant to your fitness to serve. We wouldn't have this process if your personal views were not relevant. That is pretty stunning that you will not share your views not only on whether we should have a refugee admissions process that is race-based, but you won't share your personal views on whether we should reimpose discriminatory treatment against black Americans. That is absolutely relevant to your qualifications to serve, and your refusal.
Him not giving a definite answer should tell you that he is here to serve an administration that reeks of white supremacy. Based on his background and his ideologies, I stand to be corrected when I say that Bozell is a white racist supremacist that is here to spread the propaganda of the so-called white genocide and to pave the way for white people to take over in South Africa. He is here to bully South Africa into doing America's bidding. He is not here to strengthen these nations' relations. He is here to pursue Trump's contentious issues with South Africa. One, advancing Trump's invitation to the lying Afrikaners who wish to taint South Africa's rainbow nation's image with these white genocide lies. We know they are fleeing to the States to evade equality in South Africa. Two, he is going to force South Africa to withdraw their case against Israel at the International Court of Justice. Three, he is going to force South Africa to not give justice to the previously disadvantaged group, the black people, to not address the injustices and fragments of apartheid. He is going to force the South African government to rescind its legislation allowing expropriation of land without compensation. Four, he is going to force South Africa to sever ties with Russia, China, and Iran, the mortal enemies of the United States. He is going to force South Africa to withdraw out of the BRICS nation.
I come before you at a challenging moment for U.S.-South Africa relations. The president has expressed serious concerns about South Africa that for too long have been unaddressed. When people and businesses in South Africa believe their private property rights are at risk, when many South Africans feel unsafe in their homes, when rampant corruption and unfair business practices hold back the South African economy, and when South African politicians greet as friends those who seek to destabilize the world's peace and security, then common ground between our two countries feels harder to find. If confirmed as ambassador, in addition to supporting U.S. citizens in South Africa, I will work on the following priorities. I will communicate our objections to South Africa's geostrategic drift from non-alignment toward our competitors, including Russia, China, and Iran. I'll press South Africa to end proceedings against Israel before the International Court of Justice and to pressure the International Criminal Court prosecutor to discontinue this lawfare, which is belied by Israel's support for the ceasefire in Gaza and commitment to the rules of war throughout the conflict. Second, I will advance the president's invitation to Afrikaners who wish to flee unjust racial discrimination. I will explore how we can support the South African government in making sure all South Africans can thrive free from the threat of violence. I will support the president's call for the South African government to rescind its support for the expropriation of private property without compensation. Finally, I will advocate for business interests by promoting fair trade practices and reduce barriers that will level the playing field for for U.S. companies and empower South Africa as an engine of economic growth, creating a more prosperous future.
He is yet to make South Africa a sub-region of America, and the South African clowns accepted this racist human being as an ambassador. I just want you guys to realize that South African clowns accepted this racist human as an ambassador. After the history that we have endured, after so many speeches about how black people deserved better, 30 years after democracy, we are still falling into those racist patterns that seek to oppress us prior 1994. This is such a misstep. This is a miscalculation on the South African government's end. Like, we literally had the choice to reject Trump's nominee. Trump's, what do they, yes, is it nominee? Yeah, we literally had a choice to reject this human being. But what did we do? As always, we became the lapdog of the Western countries, and no one is going to take us seriously after this. The United States expelled Ambassador Ibrahim Rasool over his political stance, yet South Africa is expected to accept a U.S. envoy who once opposed ending apartheid. The hypocrisy, to be honest with you, is staggering. We are a nation still bleeding from the wounds of racial injustice, still battling inequality rooted in apartheid's brutality. To welcome someone linked to defending that very system is not diplomacy, it is a disgrace. It signals that our history can be minimized, that our pain can be negotiated, and that our accountability is optional. South Africa cannot claim to stand for justice while entertaining those who defended oppression. If we continue to reward people whose records clash with our constitutional values, we reduce ourselves to a punchline on the global stage. History is not a prop, and our dignity is not for sale, but the ANC that is easily manipulated, that seeks to be manipulated in order for them to stay in power, they'll accept anything, including selling its very own people that suffered under apartheid out. They're selling us out. At this point, we are a joke. We preach about the Rainbow Nation, how we are united, forgive and forget, and yet you keep rubbing salt to the wound. This man literally opposed the Reagan administration from meeting the ANC, even called the ANC terrorists. Terrorists for wanting peace, terrorists for wanting equal rights for black people post-apartheid. Terrorists for wanting to end apartheid in the first place. So, yeah. And the South African government went ahead and accepted this subhuman, racist, white supremacist person, Brent Bozell III, as their ambassador. Well done. Well done. And for those black South Africans that are not voicing out their opinions enough, yeah, it went over your head. And this just proves that the proximity to whiteness and to do their bidding is deeply embedded in your identity. You simply cannot live without the white supremacist. You simply can't live without being the white people's puppet, the white monopoly stooges, basically. What do you think about this segment? Comment to us in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and share the broadcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss these groundbreaking conversations right here on the African Diaspora News channel. And family, you know that I have my own YouTube channel. It's called The Native Talk. The link is in the description box below. So don't forget to go to the description box, click on the link, and subscribe to The Native Talk. We talk everything African, the cultural landscape, the properties that we one day want black Americans to occupy. So go ahead and subscribe to The Native Talk. I'll see you on the flip side.